Hey, everybody, on this episode of the GH Report, Kristina is kidnapped. Sonny's looking for vengeance. And holy cow, what is in the box, Kevin? What is in the box? We're going to break it all down next.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Some high-quality hosting happening right here at the GH Report. Welcome, everybody, to the show that looks back at all the latest shenanigans happening in Port Charles and breaks it all down for you. I'm Frank Moran.
I'm Carla Renata.
And as always, folks, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And Carla's got her iPad up and running, which means the chat is up and running. So chime on, come on in and share your thoughts. I know you're already in there, and Carla's loving it.
Yes, and let me just say that my contacts aren't working really well today, so I can barely see what y'all are writing, but I'm going to try to shout y'all all out. Stuart Pierce, Rena Sheen, Annie Goen, Kelly Public Cover, Joe Costanza. Let's see. Ooh, I can't scroll too fast either. Those, Michael B. Hey, Michael B. Amy. Jennifer, I'm just going to call first names because I can't read. Oh, bless. Loretta. And if I missed anybody, let me know, but just tell me the first name because I can't read the last name. My contacts are funky. But thank y'all for joining us today.
We're firing on all cylinders here.
Oh, we got shenanigans. His mouth ain't working and my eyes aren't working. It's like the blind leading the blind.
So, folks, we're going to break down the latest happenings here in Port Charles. After we've been gone for 2 weeks, so we've got a lot to catch up on. We'll also do a little bit of news and gossip down there at the end of the episode as well. But before we dive into it on this Easter afternoon.
Yes. Happy Easter, y'all.
That's right.
Passover.
Yes.
Some people might be celebrating Passover, so there's that.
Or in a candy coma. That too.
Easter egg coma.
What have you thought of the last 2 weeks overall?
The last 2 weeks were a slow burn, mostly concentrating on Kristina and Dawn of Day. But I'm glad that finally came to a little resolution. But after they finished with the Dawn of Day stuff, it was like, ooh, I'm bored. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like that seemed to be the biggest thing. I mean, yeah, I guess you have a little bit of stuff with the Oscar, but I mean, it's...
I mean, no shade to Oscar, but the Oscar thing has been going on for such a long time, and we know what the finality of that is going to be. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of when it happens and how everybody that is embroiled in that particular storyline, how it's going to ultimately have its fallout. So it's like we kind of know what's going to happen with that, but not really. Yeah. So it's like, okay.
Well, why don't we just dive into it right with the Dawn of Day stuff? This is Carla's most exciting storyline for the past couple weeks.
Yes, it is. So let me just say this. I don't remember the name of the dude that plays Shiloh. I don't think I ever really knew his name. But whoever he is, he's kicking butt on General Hospital because every time I see him, I just want to punch him in his throat through the TV screen. I'm just like, he's so creepy and he's so just despicable that because he is inciting that visceral reaction out of me, he's doing his job correctly as far as it's the same way I felt when I watched Patricia play Mary Pat. It's that same visceral feeling that, ooh, I just want to kill them. But he's doing a really good job in that role. Having said that, he is all up on Sam like white on rice. I'm like, why are you rolling all up on Sam? And everybody's got their panties in a knot about it. Kristina's got her panties in a knot about it. Daisy's got her panties in a knot about it. And nobody has their panties in a knot about it more than Miss Harmony.
Yeah, I feel like this is because for a while I was thinking, what is the deal with Shiloh? I mean, certainly he's running this cult, but other than having this camera mounted and being just kind of, just giving that creepy vibe, we haven't really seen like the bad things that Dawn of Day is up to. And then, of course, this week we kind of get the illusion that when you do this induction ceremony to the trust, you get the tattoo, you get drugged, and then Shiloh sleeps with you.
But we found out that they weren't really getting drugged. They were just given some valerian root tea.
Well, no, that's what...
That's what... But valerian root tea, have you ever had valerian root tea? I have. Yeah. Valerian root tea will make you knock out just like that because it's specifically for that purpose, to go to sleep.
All right.
I've had it, and I have insomnia really bad. So one of the things that the doctors suggested that I do, in addition to taking, they told me to get some powdered calcium, magnesium, and put that in some hot water and drink it like tea. When that didn't work, they told me to get some valerian root tea, when that didn't work, we moved on to other things. But valerian root tea will make you fall out. It made me fall out for a minute, but I wasn't asleep for very long.
I mean, 'cause I got to feel like there's got to be. I mean, I know that Shiloh says, "Hey, oh Brad, it's just some tea in here." There's got to be more to it than that.
I kind of don't think there is.
Really, because Shiloh was so worried about it getting tested.
He was worried about that cup with that tattoo on the back.
Right.
I think he was more worried about that tattoo symbol on the back than he was about the contents of the cup.
Really? I don't think he'd be worried about that because, I mean, that kind of sets it up that these women aren't completely in control of their faculties.
Well, I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know. But I felt like he was more disturbed over the fact that somebody knew there was a cup and knew that there was a cup that came from Donna Day with those initials on the back of it. And he knows that there's a few people running around with those initials on their bodies. So I felt like he was and about the whole trust thing and giving over information that he can use against you if you decide to leave. It's starting to sound more and more like the Church of Scientology. Just a little disturbing.
Sure, it just sounds so skeevy, especially when you see a woman like Harmony, who, if indeed becomes like Willow's adopted mother, that kind of got her sucked into Donna Day, but that would give you something that kind of just reduces your mental faculties. To the point where you would then Shiloh would then sleep with you at that point as well. And everybody seems to be totally cool with inducting other women into this circle of trust.
It's really not okay. Somebody, Kelly said that Brad wiped off the contents of the cup. So that's why, I guess that's why the only contents they were able to ascertain were the valerian root. But yeah, it's just shenanigans. And I just don't like the fact that she had to get all dressed up for it, and they gave her, and she was like, and Harmony was like, "Oh, you're anxious. Here, drink this, drink that." I was like yelling at the TV screen going, "Don't do it, girl. Do not drink what's in that cup." It was like, Steve, you funny. It was like, I don't know. I was not having that. I'm like, ooh, but why was I talking to the TV screen? Because they had shenanigans. It was a lot going on. And then I just love the fact, this is what I thought was really funny. I thought it was funny that nobody saw Sam come in and out, even though that same hallway, from our vantage point as viewers when we watch it, it looks like that same hallway has one entrance and one exit. Clearly it doesn't, because everybody that goes in there and takes something doesn't get caught. I was like, why is nobody getting caught coming out the house? Why is nobody not hearing the door close? I had problems with that.
Well, and it is one thing for Sam just to go up on her own and check some things out and come back down. I think wearing at least some kind of a high heel. But for once, doesn't fall down the stairs.
She had on those boots, those little 4-inch boots that she wears all the time.
But then you have Jason, who goes up and carries a body out of there.
That's what I'm saying.
And
nobody sees it. Nobody hears it. I'm like, and as he's taking her out in like the little courtyard part of it, once they get past the door, they start talking. Nobody hears somebody talking outside the door.
Yeah.
Nobody hears that conversation happening? I'm like, come on now.
And it seems weird that Shiloh, who has set up his weird perv camera up there in like the living room of the Donna Day house, that is the only one?
Exactly.
You don't have cameras set up everywhere else?
Well, to be clear, so if he has one of those cameras, if he has a Waze camera, YWZE camera, you can only set those up in a room at a time. So he may have only set it up in that one but even still, if it's set up in that living room, that camera didn't show somebody coming in and out the door.
You would think
He ain't had enough common sense to check the camera before he started running all over Port Charles looking for Kristina. Like, that's just funny to me.
I'm really worried about her. I'm really worried.
He ain't worried about it. He worried about his face getting cracked. That's what he worried about.
So, I mean, it was interesting to see everybody starting to put these pieces together. And I do like that it's become more than just Jason and Sam involved with this. I mean, you've got Michael more involved. You've got Willow, Chase. Sonny's involved. Alexis is sucked in. Now you've got the psychiatrist, Neil.
Yeah, I'm flipping back to Willow for a second. I was really happy to see them giving her more to do in that particular storyline. So she's not just aimlessly wandering through Port Charles being angst about this baby. I was so happy they gave her something else to do.
Yeah.
And I was happy to see that she decided that she would help Kristina, because when Kristina finally woke up and realized what had went down, she lost her little mind. I'm like, ooh, that's mind control like a mug. I'm like, that's messed up. I was like, oh man, they didn't. Yeah. So
I am glad that they brought in the psychiatrist, because it's one thing just to be Alexis's therapist. But I was like, well, how are we going to bring in this actor and kind of show him more on the wider canvas of the show?
yeah, that was a good way to infiltrate him into more lives and a lot more happenings in Port Charles. But it also shows how evolved Sonny and Alexis are. Because there was a point where if somebody was giving Sonny an issue, they were gone. Period, end of story. Period, end of sentence. They were out of there. Now he's like, okay, I can't bump him off because you got Margot sniffing around waiting for something to go down. So at least he's using his noggin a little bit more rationally these days, Sonny is. I don't know if it's because the new baby is on the way, or him being a father and being older has finally settled in and made him realize that he can't keep making the same decisions without any consequences. I don't know.
Well, and it certainly affects how Kristina will react, because Kristina finding out if Shiloh is killed and it's because of her that this has happened, then you could end up actually completely losing her. So
exactly, because she's very volatile.
Yeah.
She's a very in the moment kind of chick, and she just reacts. Kristina's character never seems to think things through. Like, her through line is she always just reacts without any thought or provocation to the fact that there's a consequence to her just doing that, which is really funny. But her sister Molly also does the same thing. But Molly reacts in a way that's like she gonna kick somebody's butt. When she jumped up in Sam's face and was like, "Have you lost your damn mind?" I hollered. I was like, and then so she goes off on Sam, and then after she leaves, Sam has like that little smirk on her face, like, "Yeah, that's my sister. She go in, yeah."
Yeah, going off on Shiloh as well. I read your book. It's derivative. Some parts plagiarized. I put notes here. Colored tabs.
And then threw it in his face. I was like, Molly went in hard on everybody. It's like, if they are about Donna Day, she is not about them.
So when Alexis finds out that Neil's involved in helping to deprogram after Jason takes Kristina, takes him over to one of the safe houses that they've got. I think the only one safe house that we've got, because that's one that Jason was hiding out in when he first came back.
Right?
Just got that one safe house.
Supposedly he has numerous ones, but for some reason they keep showing that one. I don't know.
So Neil tells Alexis that when he got invited over to Sonny's restaurant to hear Sonny's pitch, he felt like it was like, knowing his reputation, like it was an offer that he couldn't refuse. I mean, certainly, yes, Sonny is a alleged mobster in the world of General Hospital, but that discussion, I never felt like Neil was like not given any sort of choice to like, you can't do that. Did you feel like Neil was given an offer that he couldn't refuse?
No, I don't feel like he was given an offer he couldn't refuse. I felt like they were like, look, I feel like they were like, so, listen, you can do this and not do it. I think, okay, wait, let me flip it back. I think the reason they said that is because they told him that, you know, he could help them or not help them, but if he didn't help them, then Sonny was going to have to take matters into his own hands. And I feel like that's why he said, I gave him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like, yeah, either I say no and they just do something on their own, they could totally destroy this young girl's life, I guess.
But now I'm intrigued at what type of cults he's been involved in deprogramming people from.
Yeah, there is
Was it
speculation.
Donna Day?
Yeah, there's been speculation.
Was he involved with Shiloh? Is that why he came to Port Charles? Like, I need to know.
There's been thoughts like, could he be involved with Harmony? Could he be the adoptive father of Willow?
Yeah, it's a lot of shenanigans going on because he's kind of shady boots too.
Yeah.
He just walks around with that shade aura on the regular. So I'm like, I don't know what's happening with him.
But I'm a sucker for Joe Flanagan from Stargate Atlantis, so I'm willing, like, I'm giving my boy the benefit of the doubt.
You crack me up. You always bring up where they were before. I do it too, though, but I usually do it when it comes to the ABC soap, so I can't shade you that much on that respect.
Right.
It's just pure comedy.
Come on, Stargate Atlantis. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, my God. And what about Julian being all up in his feelings about the fact that Kristina has not shown up for work and that he gave her money?
I know. He was like,
and when he said he gave her money, I'm thinking he gave her like a couple of hundred, not $10K. I was like, you gave her $10,000?
He did.
Like, what were you? Even Alexis was like, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
I was like, she took the words right out of my mouth because I was like, what the hell? Like, is Charlie's that lucrative that you just got $10K sitting around?
What I don't understand is So Jason gets Kristina's cell phone, and because she's still out of it, that first night that he takes her away from the Donna Day house, he's able to get the passcode so he can send out a text to Julian saying, "I'm not going to be there that day." But then they just stop right there. Like, why don't you keep sending out texts or something just to keep letting people know? You know, it seemed to work well for Ryan when he was doing that with Laura's phone.
Right.
Like, so Jason, you did it one time and then you just stopped. And so you're just going to make people keep wondering, like, what's going on with Kristina?
That is pure comedy. And oh yeah, it's just yeah. They had issues. And then just to flip back, because I'm thinking about poor little Miss Willow. Actually, no. Yeah, I'm thinking about poor little Miss Willow when she confessed to to Michael that, because Michael was like, "Oh, it's so great to be, having to talk to," and she was like, "Yeah, so I have a kid that's here." But I love how she never told him who the kid was.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna tell him all that, why don't you just tell him who the kid is?
Well, I mean, I guess it happened at the tail end of Friday's episode, so I guess we can figure out on Monday if she gives him the full deets.
I cannot.
Now, speaking of Willow, though, we see her and Chase's relationship go to the next level. They have a little romantic rendezvous.
That was so boring, but okay.
I admit that I fast forward through all those scenes.
I'm glad they're just beginning for me to have a little bit of chemistry, so I'm glad that they are hooking up, but I was like, that love scene was like, okay.
Well, okay, let's compare love scenes. So we've got Willow and Chase, and then we've got Michael and Sasha.
Yeah, either one. I was just like,
I gotta admit, I don't know what it is. I just fast forward through all of that.
So, like, what is happening? I don't understand.
I would love for all of you that are watching live, or if you're watching after we stream live and you want to comment down below, if there is a love scene on GH, do you sit there and you just watch it and you enjoy the montage of smooching and music, or do you just hit the fast forward button?
I didn't hit the fast. I sat through it, but I think I went and got some cocoa or something. but Jazz 41173 is like, why is everybody giving Kristina money? Because Michael gave her money, Julian gave her money, and all this money is going to Shiloh. What is Shiloh doing with all this money?
He's making some bank. That is for sure.
I'm like, he didn't got a good. And did they even say how much money that Michael gave her? They never said how much Michael gave her, right?
No. I mean, if it was $10K to get into the trust, I'm guessing it was probably a little less than that.
For the other stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like Shiloh keeps roping you in, so I feel like it was a little less of an ask.
Dulamon said that a lot of people are like they fast forward through the scenes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ooh, y'all are funny. So y'all must not watch it in real time, because I watch it in real time, so I can't fast forward.
Oh, no, I could not do that.
I watch it in real time, so I can't fast forward. That's why I was like, I just get up and go get some cocoa.
I will say there may be storylines.
Or beer, whichever one happens to be handy.
There could be storylines that drive me bonkers, but I will not fast forward through anything except for a love scene. That will always get a fast forward for me.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay. Let me see, what else?
So, okay, so we got...
Wait, what about... I think we talked about this before, but I just had to bring it up again. When Chase got all up in Shiloh's grill, and he was like, I was like, well, okay, Chase got some balls, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Look at him go.
Look at him go. But I think we have exhausted the stuff about Donna Day. But I'm interested to see how that's all going to play out. I'm interested to see how they explain where Kristina is if Shiloh actually finds out, because I think he's getting closer simply for the fact that he saw Brad with that cup. So because he saw Brad with that cup, he went back to Donna Day and said to Harmony, I think Jason is the one that took Kristina.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Brad getting sucked into Donna Day, he has. So he's really responded. I mean, and given
he's
how
weak,
much...
though, so we're not surprised by that. He's so weak.
I mean, seeing how he couldn't hold a poker face anytime that Willow would show up around baby Wiley. Like, so, I mean, I guess you could understand that as well. So it seems like somebody that would be open to a Donna Day influence to kind of get sucked in. Mm-hmm. But I do like that Lucas is like, yeah, I'm just not into this, buddy.
Thank goodness, because if Lucas went there, I would be like what Molly said to Sam, have you lost your damn mind?
Ugh.
Really? I would think that with your parents being who they are, you'd have a little bit more common sense, and thank goodness I was right. But ugh.
Yeah. So
Brad. I can't wait. But what about what? Let me just flip back to Dawn Day for a few minutes because I love how when Jason went back to Sonny and said, "Yeah, all they found in this cup was valerian root," and Sonny was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get this tested by somebody I trust, Britt." Like, if you got to choose between Britt
yeah.
and Brad.
Well, I think he meant
Ooh.
Brick.
Did he say Brick?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he said Britt.
Britt.
I thought he said Britt. I was like, so you gonna find Britt and have her test the cup? That made me laugh out loud.
That's your boy Brick, man. Brick doesn't let you down.
Okay, all right. Because I could have sworn he said Britt, and I was like, are we bringing her back again? I swear. Ooh, got to clean my ears. Clearly,
Just a tad. Yeah.
just a tad. And what about let's talk about Kevin and Laura and them for 2 seconds. How they acquitted him of the charges, but it still didn't seem to solve his problems. Except for one, him and Laura got back together.
That's true. I mean, the nice thing is especially if you love One Life to Live and you love those characters we don't get to see on a regular basis. Nora Buchanan comes back. She's been representing Kevin once before. She's back again with her plan to say that, hey, Ryan was declared legally dead. Mm-hmm. So if he's a dead person, you can't really fault Ryan or Kevin for all the stuff that went down. And so Kevin gets acquitted.
Right. But then what happens is he goes to the hospital. Him and Laura had a little smooch, and then here comes that box.
What's in the box? What is in the box?
Now we're thinking, did they find? I can't remember. Did they actually find the hand?
Well, yeah, because I guess they did find it. The Canadian PD found it. So there's going to be something else in the box other than the hand.
I am intrigued to see what it is. It better be good too, because if they had all that suspense over a Friday for something lame, I'm gonna feel some kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, well, I feel like it won't be one of Ryan's body parts, but it's got to be somebody's body part.
I don't know if it's even a body part. Maybe it'll just be, maybe it'll be some type of token, or somebody's driver's license. Because remember, he would keep people's driver's license. So maybe, I don't know. I'm guesstimating. I have no idea what's going to be in that box. If y'all know if you think you know what's in that box, let me know. I will try to read it because, like I told you, I'm blind and I can barely read what's being written. But
I did like the brief scene between Nora and Kevin after he gets acquitted, and Kevin trying to figure out what he's going to do. And it's like, instead of just sitting there and racking yourself with guilt, find some way to help somebody else. That's the best way you can take advantage of this new opportunity you've been given.
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that, though, because,
Well, it looks like he's been let go from GH, so it looks like he's going to just open up his own little practice somewhere.
Yeah, and I have to say I'm glad that Laura took him back because it didn't look good for me as a viewer to have them split up and have her be walking around angst every time she saw him. I'm really not trying to see that from Jeannie Francis and John Lindstrom. So I'm really glad that they kind of just nipped that in the bud, and now we're going to keep it moving. So I was glad about that.
Well, because it ends up Elizabeth and Laura have this nice little chat, which it was interesting to see Elizabeth kind of be on the, here, let me give you some advice, Laura, kind of side of it. And so
I love that, actually. That was a great scene.
Yeah, and it comes down to, like, knowing the heart of the person. And if the heart of the person is good, like Franco for Liz, and so like with Kevin for Laura, then you look at somebody like Valentina and Nina. So by this, do you think that the heart of Valentine is not a good person?
I think that Valentine is one of those people, like somebody, I can't remember which character said this, but it was Sasha, when she was talking to Nina and Maxie, when she said to Maxie that sometimes people make the wrong decisions with good intentions. And I think he's one of those people. I don't think he's innately an evil person. I think that he makes decisions for what he believes are good intentions toward whoever it is that he loves. When it comes to somebody that he doesn't necessarily care too much about, like Spencer, he might be just a little evil scientist there, because it's like, what kind of adult does that make you threatening a child? He's a child.
Yeah.
He's a child with the voice of a man. It's kind of hysterical to watch.
I mean, it is tough because, that he does genuinely care for Nina.
Yeah.
But he has done some shady things, and so the more he keeps trying to cover it, he just keeps digging himself a bigger hole.
Yep, and so is Sasha, because the more Sasha keeps trying to cover the fact that she is Nina's daughter, is getting deeper and deeper thus having Sasha make that comment about, I hope that Nina would be as forgiving as she is with you if something like that happened with me, you know what I mean? Or something to that effect she said. I'm paraphrasing. But she alluded to the fact when she said what she said, that she was hoping that the way that Nina was so forgiving toward Maxie after everything that happened, that, you know, she would be that way towards someone else, basically meaning her.
It is like,
because when the shit hits the fan, it's going to hit the fan hard.
I felt like Sasha was sort of on that preemptive sort of apology tour where she says that.
You said the apology tour.
She's like that with Michael, where it's like, yeah, when you said, you know, your ex was, you know, very loose with the truth and a manipulator, like, I haven't always been that honest in my life. And then again with Maxie, just saying like, yeah, the way, you know, you've forgiven Maxie, you know, it would be great if you could do that for somebody else. Like, almost to the point of like, she's just stepping short of just confessing like, guys, yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm not
Absolutely.
really.
They told me that the guy who plays Shiloh, his name is Kobe Ryan McLaughlin. Okay, thank you. Oh, and can we just say, I'm so glad Lulu left town.
You know, speaking of that, because we've got Valentine now trying to pull a little shadiness.
Yeah, trying to get control of, not get control, but get custody of Charlotte because she left the country and didn't, you know, tell the courts anything. She just left because she's emotionally distraught and clearly wasn't thinking clearly. But Valentine tried to use that to his advantage. I'm like, that is shady boots.
Well, especially because the way that Lulu left, because Valentine makes it seem like, you know, I'm not going to fly her out to Paris every couple of weeks. Like, Lulu never asked that. She just said, Laura's here in town. She'll see Charlotte.
Right, but he's using it against her, and he's using it against Laura too, because he's got shenanigans. But what he doesn't realize in the midst of him doing that, which he called off, thank goodness, because maybe he came to his senses and realized, if you get the law involved in this, sooner or later it's going to flip over to investigating you and your shady behind, and then your shenanigans are going to come to light, and then what?
Yeah, I mean, and it is tough to see the mother of that child who has been almost killed by a serial killer.
Right.
To paint her in a bad, like, of course she needs, even like, as Nora's telling Valentine, like, the woman's entitled to get away for a little bit.
If that happened, if somebody almost killed me, and then my husband, and I thought, oh, my husband's back, I can just relax and have solace in his arms, and then he bounces too. I'm like, yeah, I got to go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love you, mean it, but I got to bounce.
This is terrible, but I know we do get tweets about it. Would you like that if you know, she leaves Rocco in Paris and then just comes back?
Hell no.
Puts him in the boarding school that Spencer's been at.
You can't just leave Rocco. Poor little Rocco. They treat Rocco like the stepchild of poor Charles. That's terrible.
It's like, no, he's at that school now. That's fine.
I feel like when people talked about that little boy, that they made her leave town with Rocco to get that little boy off the show. Because who called them children of the corn? Was that you?
No, that was Michael. That was Michael B.
That
in
was
the
Michael
chat.
B.
That was Michael B. in the chat, baby. Oh, man. So one other storyline we've had, too, is Oscar's coming closer to the end of his life. Mm. So he finally leaves the hospital after getting the final prognosis of what it's going to be like, and he moves back over into the Quartermaine mansion along with Kim. And we see that he's asked Olivia and Ned to take care of the funeral arrangements. He's already kind of written down what he wants, but he wants them to do it so that he doesn't have to worry about disturbing Grandma, Drew, Kim, or Jocelyn.
Because he sees that those four people, as much as he loves them, they can't be objective right now because they're too clouded with grief, living grief, before he's even gone anywhere. Like, all four of those people can't even look at him without crying.
Yeah. It's, you know, it will be, you know, it'll be a sad ending to the storyline. It'll be a lot of waterworks.
I hope they just find him sleep.
Yeah.
I don't need to see him convulsing or them taking him to GH and them coming out saying he's gone. Like, I just need for him to go to sleep, for all of them to say goodnight to him one night, and he just goes to sleep and never wakes up. That's what I need to happen. I don't want that young man that's playing that role to have I don't want him to be put in that position. I really don't. And the reality is, if someone's brain has swelled up to that extent, they're probably just going to go to sleep and not wake up anyway.
Yeah. It's, you know, the only thing that and this is all in retrospect, and there's, you know, many different ways to tell a story, but when he's talking to Ned and Olivia saying, hey, could you help plan my funeral? It makes me wish that other than when he was first kind of revealed to be a Quartermaine, that he was Drew's son, and we saw like Ned going like, we got to find out what the deal is with this guy because he's gonna have Quartermaine stock.
Right.
We never really saw any interactions other than like they talked about guitar for a hot second.
You know, that's true. That's true.
And it just feel like we never really got to see him involved in the Quartermaine aspect of things.
But he did interact a little bit with Olivia at some point, more so with Olivia than with Ned.
And he did go on that tour of Port Charles with Monica, which I would have loved to have seen that as opposed to hearing about it later.
Right, exactly. I agree with you about that. What I also liked about how they are tying up his storyline is they have him and Jocelyn working on the Nurse's Ball song, and that moment where he was like, I think you should find somebody else to perform it with you. I was like, that kind of broke my heart.
Who do you think will perform it with Jocelyn?
Cameron.
What about Jax?
Oh, that would be good if Jax came back, but no, that ain't gonna happen.
No, it's
it'll be Cameron.
Speaking of Cameron, so he gets in a little trouble this week because of somebody saying something cruel about Aiden. Cameron gets in a fight with him at lunch.
But what was disturbing about that is how angry he was about the fact that his brother could be gay.
Yeah.
Like, he was really not having it. I'm like, ooh, what's going to happen when he realizes that this is true?
Yeah, but I feel like Cameron also feels like, I think he could feel like that Aiden's gay, but could you just be less gay so that it doesn't cause disruptions in our lives?
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's angry about it because there's no being less gay.
Yeah.
There's no going through a phase. There's no peer pressure involved with somebody being gay. People that are gay, and I have numerous ones in my family and as friends, they grew up like that. It wasn't a decision that they made to be cool. They just are. Their DNA is just that. They're just different. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they play this storyline out with these two brothers and how this older brother is going to feel when he finds out that this is not a phase that his brother's going through. He's not... And I can't figure out if he's mad about Aiden being gay or if he's mad about the name calling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it seemed like he was really pissed off about the fact that he was being called a fairy.
Yeah, I mean, well, and then it's just how it is also impacting Cameron's life, too. It's like, well, yeah, because now you're making life difficult for me, too. Like,
Yeah.
It's not about you, Cameron. It's not about you.
It really ain't.
Folks, holy cow, this Easter Sunday went by like a...
Gangbusters.
Snap there, yes. We've come to the end of the show. Real quick, just and it's already been out for a couple weeks here, but we got Cynthia Watros is taking over for Michelle Stafford in the role of Nina. So she'll be taking over that. It looks like they're just going to be. She goes away one day, and then Cynthia takes over the next day. No big plastic surgery drama or anything like that. So we'll have her taking over, and it'll be exciting to see what she does with that role. And I feel like they're going to keep Michelle Stafford around for the Sasha reveal, but the stuff after that, it looks like it'll be Cynthia Watros doing it. So we'll be curious to see how her portrayal captures all of the drama that's going to be happening.
Yeah.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm going to say words
That mouth
today.
still ain't working right, is it?
I'm going to take a little sip before I do this close.
Ladies and gentlemen,
There we
Frank
go.
Moran.
Welcome, everybody, to the goodbye of the GH Report. Thanks for watching, folks. Like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And thanks, everybody, for hopping in the chat. And if you want to stay in touch with either of us after the show's over, Carla, where can they find you?
You can find me across all social media platforms at The Curvy Critic, and you can also find me right before the GH Report at Black Hollywood Live for The Curvy Film Critic with Carla Renata.
Folks, follow me on the Twittergrams at HappyGoJackie. We'll be back here next Sunday with an all-new episode of the GH Report right here on AfterBuzz TV.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.